Dun 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 dun. Kilted sucks. He's not singing with me. Kilted balls.
Okay, I do have to apologize for anyone who was expecting me to sing. I had to take a moment of silence here for my life that has been like the past 5 days. I'm hoping it's done, it's over with, and when life gets you down, keeps you wearing a frown, and the gravy train is pulling away. So
Uh,
yeah, I had to have that solo. I couldn't mix that in. So
you could not mix that in. I mean, if I had known, I would have let you do the whole opening. Of course, then Monty Python would be calling us and saying, "Hey, you stole our work." Right? Wasn't that Monty Python?
uh I don't think so. I think it's the Da Vinci not Da Vinci. I just pulled it up.
DDVP? No,
Da Vinci's Notebook.
it is Da Vinci's Notebook.
Mhm.
Really? I totally was thinking that was Monty Python. I
I
was
mean,
way
it
off.
could be, but that's how I learned about it, so that's who I'm giving credit to.
Do you know the title of the song? Now I gotta know. Now I gotta know.
Yes, the song is Enormous Penis.
Are you sure? Are you sure that's the name?
Yes, I am positive that's the name. Because I re-listened to it to make sure I knew the second line. I knew it was something about Gravy Train. I couldn't remember the exact line.
I'm really worried about what's going to pop up on my search engine.
But
The meaning of life, I think.
it's not in the meaning of life.
Okay, let me.
You're thinking of always look on the bright side of life.
Okay, just a second. I'm
That's
going to listen
different.
real quick.
Okay.
You all can't hear this because it's
It's
me
hard.
listening.
But I'll fill in a little bit. Besides my the last 5 days with our new trading strategy, I've basically all the profits that I've had are now gone, which is not that big of a deal. That's here or there. But also someone decided to smash my brand new Suburban. And today my Porsche decided it wasn't going to change gears anymore. So I had to get it towed to the dealership.
Oh my goodness. Amy
We
asked if that's her fault. She's
we
like, I
officially
drove
have
it.
0 cars.
Doesn't your girl still have her like Jeep or whatever?
No, we turned that in.
When
Her
did you turn
dad's
that in?
We turned that in a while ago. They sent a note like they offered her a whole bunch of money to turn her lease in early.
Yeah,
And I was like, we don't need it. I
makes
mean,
sense.
she's got the Honda, but we don't drive that much. We
You
try not
still
to.
got the Kia somewhere, don't you?
Tristan drives the Kia.
But it's there. It exists.
Yes. Yes, it
Yes.
does. But yeah, it's been a crappy couple days. But in all of that, like people aren't here to hear, aren't here to
No.
listen to that.
But you know what? I will. I'll reach up here. What are we
I
gonna
was
do?
gonna say at the same time, and
I'll have a
that's why
drink
I was
for you.
that's why I was singing that song. Like really everything I wouldn't trade my life for anything. It's been
No.
amazing. I wouldn't trade, even though we've had a amazing relationship, being able to come on every week and hang out with you and our listeners and the whole crypto world and NFTs and even some of the new projects that we're working on. So all that's
Yeah.
fine. I mean, accidents happen, things happen, but yeah.
Yep. And you think to yourself, yep, it sucks that someone smashed my Suburban, but you had a Suburban, and it sucks
Yes.
when the tranny stops in the Porsche, but you got a Porsche.
Mm-hmm.
Can't be said about that. It's kind of like what's one of the things like when they do the Beatitudes in church,
Yeah.
like bless the hungry. Well, because they'll be fulfilled, right? Because there's no other
Mm-hmm.
choice. Like it's be
Yeah.
fulfilled or die.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
right, yeah, they're gonna be
Mm-hmm.
fulfilled, and that's awesome. And
Yeah,
so you know, it's the good
exactly.
part,
So
and
there's
that
some little bumps in the road, but
there are, and people like that's one of the things Kilton and I are always big on, and I think sometimes in our talks and our
mm-hmm.
chats on here, you might miss it. I hope you don't, but I think overall we're stupid positive.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in a constant, it sounds corny and I know, but I'm in a constant state of attitude of gratitude. I'm so thankful for everything.
Right. And I think everything is so much better in your life when you're that way. Literally, I get asked all the time, like, hey, how's the year going? How's this going? How's this starting? I'm like, it's great. And they're like,
Hmm.
really? And I'm like, it's always great.
Yeah.
I go, it's going to be really, really rare that you hear me say it's not great.
Hmm.
And I can think of one time in like 10 years where I'm like partway through the day and people were like, hey, how's your day going? And I was like, you know what? All my fucks are gone. And they're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I go, I'm just telling you. I go, that's how the day's going. I go, every
Hmm.
every fuck that I had is gone. And
Mm.
this one lady was like, oh, you're give a damn broke.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, my give a damn broke. You are so right. And
Yeah.
so don't think that we are like immune to
Hmm.
negativity, but that was one day in like forever. And
Yeah.
it hit and I thought said, here's the day, and I just accepted. And it was funny because I was like, okay, so it's that day and it's a shitty day. And you know
Hmm.
what? Sometimes days are shitty and I'm gonna like that too because
Yeah.
that makes the good days feel so much better. So
Exactly.
I was actually happy because I was having it's like
Mhm.
it's like
You're getting it
AJ
out of the way.
right. It's like AJR Bummerland. When
Hmm.
you and I got liquidated for like $2,000, remember that?
Yeah.
I was so sad the next day, and that darn AJR song Bummerland came on, and I was like, yeah, AJR, preach it,
That
brother.
that was just on my random I think 2 or 3 days ago. That's funny you bring that up.
Right?
Yep.
Like I was
You're
like,
right.
that's exactly it. We'll build from there. We'll build from there.
Hmm.
So the strategy. So I put out a mini today, and interestingly, I had bad luck after the mini. I'm doing a little bit something wrong with the strategy. I'm not quite sure, but let me tell you, people, one of the things I love about the strategy that we are running. Let me bring up my trading view for you to look at. I just want to give you a quick look at Bitcoin today and tell you why some parts of the strategy are like really, really good. And this is going to be amazing, and this is why the strategy is sometimes awesome. And Kilted, I don't know if you had this experience. So can you guys, Kilted, can you see my screen pretty well?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay, let me
Anyone
zoom
who
in.
is looking, we are recording this on Tuesday night. So if you're going to go back and look at this live, so your very most right will be 2100 hours on today, which is the 13th.
Yep.
You want to look at that, and he's looking at the 15-minute time frame.
I'm looking at the 15-minute time frame exactly. I'm looking at today. And here's the thing. So I've got my trades open, and we're not going to get in depth on our strategy because it's not all worked out, but I've got them open. I opened them yesterday. So I didn't reopen them at 6 a.m. because they were both still there. And you can look, everything was flat here, right?
Yeah.
So nothing's happening. And then like this day starts and it goes up. And right here, I hit my long.
Nice.
So my long cashed out and I was like, yeah. And my short was down like 15%. And I think I even texted you and said, yeah, my long just popped. My short's
Yeah.
up down 15%, but no biggie. And then look at that short. Boom.
Hmm.
And I was like, bam, hit the short. So
Yeah.
within 30 minutes, I had hit my long and my short for the day, which is what the strategy predicts. And I was like, yeah, brother. And then I don't know what the right call is here. And this is something maybe we should work out with the strategy. I don't know. In my testing, I always trade at 6 a.m. or 10 p.m. or something like that. So there
Hmm.
was no other trades in my plan,
Yes.
but it felt weird to be done trading at what time is this? 8:30 in the morning, right?
Hmm.
But I
Yes,
did
exactly.
right, but I didn't know, is it right to just open a short because I knew it was going down? Do you just wait on the long? Do you open both of them because you don't really know what it's going to do? Because
Mhm.
that's the thing about crypto. People keep pretending they know what the hell is happening. And hey, spoiler alert, my friends, nobody knows what the fuck is going on.
Yeah,
Right? It
exactly.
doesn't matter who you listen to. It doesn't matter who your favorite talking head is, who your favorite podcast is. Even Crypto Lifer will always say there's a 60% chance it'll happen, which
Mm-hmm.
means there's a 40% chance it'll do the opposite. So
Yes.
you're not, nobody knows. And so you don't know what's going to happen. So do you do both? Do you follow the strategy? And my thought was, and I texted you this, I'm going to wait till this flat lines and then I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to make my trade.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what I did. I waited right here. You can see it flatlined here,
Mm-hmm.
3 in a row, nice and flat. And so I said, yeah, boom, started my trade and it dropped. And somehow I had set my numbers wrong. Did you see that?
I remember you were talking about that.
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's like one of them closed and one of them stopped out, and I'm like, how did they close and stop out? Like, did it move that much? And I open it up, and I'm like, well, it went down 3%,
Yeah.
2.5%, so that's really close when you're doing futures to screwing you up. So I was like, okay, maybe, but then I looked, and like I lost $12. That was my
Mhm.
stop loss.
Yeah. You're like, wait a second.
I'm like, I only lost $12. I'm like, what the heck? And then I look at the profit, and the profit was $3.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a second, what the hell is going on that it only profited $3 and the stop loss was only 12? Now, that's still good, right? I didn't lose a ton of money, I
Mhm.
didn't gain a lot of money, but it still hit kind of these little percentages. But it wasn't the 10% you and I like, and it wasn't
Yes.
the 30% that we don't like. I'm like, I don't understand what I did wrong.
Yeah.
And probably the reality is I shouldn't just randomly trade. Like the point is that I should be able to with the strategy,
Mm-hmm.
but obviously if I'm going to be setting all of these numbers, I need to think about it a little bit more in depth, which I thought I had. I was calculating it out. So I really don't know what went wrong.
Yeah. See, today for me was opposite. I got closed out first, a short closed.
Yes.
I had a bunch of little gains, and then my long, because I decided to open it back up after the big drop, stopped out.
Oh
And
no.
then through the day, I had a bunch of other little wins, but 2 other big stops. So overall, I'm down 10%.
Well, and here's the thing. Here's 2 things that I think of. First off, and I don't know who I was talking to about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that makes me happy in our new strategy is losses are part of the strategy. You're
Yes.
supposed to lose in the strategy. So if
Mm-hmm.
some of you are like, wait, you're supposed to lose? Yeah. One of the issues we had before is we were trying to never ever lose. And then when we lost, it was the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Now what we're doing is we're saying, you know what? We're going to lose. And we're going to lose 10, 20, 30% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay as long as we win the other 70 or 80%.
Yes.
And so we're
Mm-hmm.
losing, and so the losses don't hurt as bad. But
Yeah.
here's the thing that I think will eat at us later.
Mm-hmm.
Those of you who are looking at my screen earlier, you saw that wick, not the wick, the huge ass candle at 8:30.
Mm-hmm.
You saw that candle. Do you know that candle was a 4.6% candle? And for those of you who are like, that's not that much, you forget we're doing futures. We're not
Mm-hmm.
trading one for one.
Yeah.
So for us, that 4.6 was a 46% candle. I made 14% on it. 14% is great. I'm super
Yes.
happy, super excited. The strategy worked exactly as it was supposed to. But if I were able to sit there watching it, I would have chased it and I
Yeah.
would have made, instead of 14%, 30 or 40%.
And that's what
Because it
we're.
kept going down. It went down another
Mm-hmm.
1.5%, which to us is 12%. So you're talking about it went down 5.8, which is
Yeah.
58% to us.
Yes.
And you know what tasted good? I'm gonna drink to your sorrow again because
Oh,
the
awesome.
Jameson, like it felt so good going down.
I know, that's awesome.
Mhm.
Well,
And yes, you should be using a cup, people, but I don't have a cup here.
you don't have a cup?
Someone took all my cups, probably me.
Hilarious.
Mhm.
So yeah, and we're working on the strategy a little bit. And like we talked about last week, I am being a bit more adventurous, so to say, as
Mhm.
far as all that's concerned. And, you know, like opening up another one in the middle of a candle probably wasn't a great idea. It was one of those, oh, how much more can it go down? And they showed me, or it can go down a lot more.
Yeah, it can go down a hell of a lot more. Yes. Yep.
But again, it goes back to being stopped out as opposed to being liquidated. I could play again, and I just actually just closed up.
And right, so that makes all the difference. The fact that we are doing what we've been preaching for the last year, which is use your stupid stop losses, that's really changed the entire game. Because
Yes.
yes, we might be losing 30, but we're losing 30 once. And we're
Yes,
gaining
exactly.
10, gaining 10, gaining 10, gaining 10, gaining 10. And it's gonna balance out.
My problem is I have two different areas I'm doing the trading in.
Oh yes.
So one area, the bets are higher than the other area. So some of
Right.
my wins are 15 and some of my wins are 8, but some of my losses are 24 and some are 40.
Right, right. There's a big jump.
So
There's a big jump.
when you have those losses in the wrong spots, even when the wins are, but I mean, this is all part of it. This is what we're learning.
Right. And we're
So,
making the strategy as we go. And
mhm.
I know this is wrong to a lot of people, but Kilted and I don't learn. And honestly, I don't think anybody does. Learning by looking and watching. We have to do it. We
Mhm.
have to feel the pain of the mistakes. That's how we kind of learn and work our way through. And so we have the strategy. We back tested the strategy. It worked in back testing. It's a longer strategy for us. It's a
Yeah.
30-day strategy, which before we were on day-to-day strategy, which I know like most people are like 20-year strategies. Again, that ain't
Mhm.
us.
Yeah.
And you know, we're working through the kinks, if you
Yes.
will. So like right now is a great like mistake. Like in my strategy that I proposed, I don't do anything until like 6 a.m.
Mhm.
Well, so right now nothing's happening. Maybe I should go ahead and do it again. Like now would probably be the appropriate time. Actually, probably 13 minutes ago was the appropriate time to reopen everything, right? And so that's where
Kinda,
I'm getting
but yeah.
stuck right now is okay, when do I reopen? And I think we will tweak this further.
Mhm.
So here's my prediction is that we'll start getting good enough that we'll look at something like, well, like if you take Bitcoin right now, the RSI is high, but it's underneath all of the averages. So it's under all the
Mhm.
moving averages.
Yes.
So what's that gonna do? Is it gonna be more likely to shoot up? Is it gonna be more likely to fall down? And then we will start hedging our bets one way or another.
Yeah.
So the 60% will get 60% of the funds, the 40% will get 40% of the funds.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's also going to bedtime too. So it's like,
Yes.
okay, well, the 15-minute, the Stokes are high, and it is away from everything but the 21 day.
Yep.
But the hour is low, and you're way under everything.
Right. So the
So,
15 minutes shows you it might drop. The 1 hour
mhm,
shows you it's going to go up.
mhm,
And so that's again, that's the power of the strategy. We don't have to worry about that,
yeah,
right? But I think it would have been better to open it 15 minutes ago.
that's true. And I
No, I
did
think it's
get
after.
stopped out of the long that I told you about. So that long's still open. It's down to minus 15%. So,
Well, there you go. There you go. That's a good one to play because that long is going up right now. So it might go up pretty
yeah.
darn good. So people, the merge is coming up.
Yes, I was gonna say we should talk about that a little bit.
We should talk about the merge. So I was talking to, I think, my wife or somebody the other day, and I said, the merge is coming. They're like, what is this merge? And I'm like, the big thing for normal humans is it's taking Ethereum away from mining and turning it into proof of stake. So that's the gist. It's going to become much more eco-friendly, which theoretically will make it way more competitive.
Yes.
Um, because of the way it's going to go, people compare it to the Bitcoin halving. And why is that important? Well, anytime Bitcoin's halved, the price has gone up.
Mm-hmm.
So if the merge is like the halving, Ethereum's price will go up because of that. Interestingly enough, we had a friend the other day, a longtime fan of the show, Jason. We've interviewed him,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "Listen, I don't think Ethereum's going to go up more than like $2,200. So I don't know if that's a good play." And I'm just looking at Ethereum right now, and if it goes up $2,200 from where it is
Yeah.
right now, like that's kind of huge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my number lock isn't. I'm like, what is going on?
Where's my so one thing while we're talking about that too, have you heard Lifer or anyone else talk about Ravencoin?
No.
Okay, so it's one of them, and it's all speculation because no one has any idea. But what are people going to do with their miners once it's proof of stake? And Ravencoin is one of the short lists, is on the short list of things that you can still mine with the same
With
ETH
the same
miners.
rig.
And it has gone, wait, what's today? Okay, so let's just say that was the big run. So say the 20 or no, the 8th of September,
Mm-hmm.
it was 3.5 cents and it hit 8 cents. Right now it's currently at 6 cents.
So it's doubled. It's 2x.
Double, yeah. So
Wow.
that's one that people are wondering, and it's very speculative, and I don't have any money put into that. It's one I was thinking about, like even if we just throw $100 or a couple $100
Yeah.
at just to see what happens with it. It was
It might be really worth it. Well,
I heard it on and you see Lifer on BitBoy a bit. He was on this morning,
mhm.
but BitBoy was talking about it as well on their show, and Lifer's been talking about it for a couple weeks now. Actually, he's good at being ahead of those things.
I think this week you're going to see some big moves. And the first question is if Ethereum jumps, will Bitcoin jump as well?
People think that this is the time where Ethereum may flip or get very close to flipping Bitcoin.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering if Bitcoin, like, you really don't know, right? I'm going to sound like John Madden here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to sound super dumb. And those of you who know John Madden get the joke. Like, Bitcoin can go up, Bitcoin can go down, or Bitcoin can stay the same.
Those are the three options.
Those are the three options for what Bitcoin's going to do. Thanks, John Madden. But in all seriousness, Bitcoin and Ethereum often move together. So if Ethereum
Yes.
jumps up because of the halving, Bitcoin goes up. That's that option.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody cares about the Ethereum merge who's doing Bitcoin because they're Bitcoin loyalists. So Bitcoin just stays its normal, steady, stable self.
Yeah.
And then option 3, Ethereum flips Bitcoin. So all the people in Bitcoin pull out of Bitcoin to join Ethereum and Bitcoin crashes.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think Bitcoin's going to crash. I think it's too powerful.
Yeah.
I think that a flippening is very possible. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much higher ETH would have to go. It could close that gap. The ETH dominance and the Bitcoin dominance could come way down, where ETH is more like of the total market cap like 20% right now, where Bitcoin I think is at like 40%.
So let me give you my gut,
Mm-hmm.
shall we? Here's the thing. When I first got into really doing this a lot, when we first started shooting this episode and we're hitting October and November, I remember pushing Ethereum on the show, and Ethereum was hitting about 4 grand.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, it's about 4 grand. It's going to hit 10 by the end of the year. Bitcoin was about 40, and we were saying it might go up to 60. And we were talking about that 60 was not as big of a jump as 4,000 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, it was going
Mhm.
to close the gap. But here's what we never talked about. Ethereum was 10 times less. Bitcoin was 10 times more. It was 4,000 and it was 40.
Mm-hmm.
And when Bitcoin dropped to 30, Ethereum dropped to 3,000. It
Mm-hmm.
was 10 times. Right now, Ethereum is in the 1500s. Bitcoin's been holding strong in the 20s.
Mm-hmm.
It's they've separated. So I think you've got to think the merge at minimum is going to get that back to the 10. So I
Yes.
think when, like Jason says, it's going to hit 2,200, I think that's really reasonable. Here's the part where Jason's wrong. Sorry, Jason. Seriously, love you. But he was like, it's only going to go up to 2,200. And, if that's good money for you, then you should get it. But it's not something you should get into. Here's what, if you really, really believe Ethereum's going to hit 2,200 in 2 days,
Mm-hmm.
that's a 40% gain straight. And if you're like us, you're not buying Ethereum, you're buying Ethereum 3Ls,
Yes.
which means you're not going up 40%, you're going up 120%.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could be even crazier and you're doing Ethereum 10Xs, which means it's going up 400%. That's not chump change to anybody
Yes.
around.
Yes. I personally I mean I've heard a lot of people say we're not to the bottom yet. There's some signs we could be. I'm open to either or,
Yes.
but I'm ready. If Bitcoin, I've said if Bitcoin hits 10,000, like I'm buying, but at the same time I'm buying, I would say, at least twice as much ETH at that same price, whatever ETH is at, whether ETH is at 400 or 700 or wherever it's at. If Bitcoin hits that low, if Bitcoin hits 15 grand or 10 grand or whatever it is,
Yes.
a third of my money is Bitcoin, but 2/3 is going to be Ethereum.
So right now I'm having a huge issue mentally because I'm really FOMO about ETH. I was FOMO before about it, and I've missed out. I've missed out multiple times. I bought ETH when it was 1,700 back in June and July,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I missed out on other times where I could buy. It's at 1575 right now.
Yeah.
I don't know how I don't buy 3L tokens. And I'm so worried that I'm going to miss that 120%. And then we're going to come on here in a week and I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, people, I can't believe I missed it again. I can't believe I missed it again.
Well, if you're going to do it, I mean, you're going to do it live. Is that what you're thinking?
No, because
Kind
I'm
of,
thinking I'd have to figure out how to do it. But I'm literally thinking about
Oh.
taking my Bitcoin and switching it to Ethereum.
Okay.
Like I'm like, okay, maybe I don't want to get my bank account involved, but I've got Bitcoin sitting there.
Because you have that wallet.
So I'm like, maybe I start snagging some Bitcoin and changing it to Ethereum so that if it goes up that much, I get to ride that wave.
Yes. I'm just checking. Where do I have this? Yeah. I just have a small amount in my E3L. I opened that a while ago.
Okay.
I was just trying to see like what I had where right now.
Well, and so people, I'm really curious as to what you think. And Kilted, do you think ETH in the next 3 days is going to hit 2? So the merge happens in 2 days. That's when it's scheduled.
I would bet that personally. And actually, that's maybe something I might shuffle some things around to be able to partake in that.
Do we pause the strategy and put everything into 3Ls?
I am not going to do that. But just because we've already started this month.
Yes, yes.
At the same time, I have already pulled back because we have two parts of the strategy, the bots and the futures.
Yes.
I've already pulled back the futures because of things that we've talked about.
Yes.
Although the futures are, I'm not, it's not blind.
Yes, it's not blind.
So, but I'm still keeping track of the futures on the computer.
Right.
So I may take that future money and put it into, well, it would be a 10. So it would still be part of the strategy.
Yeah. So that was the next question. Are you going to go right for the 10L?
But I have some other money I might put into the 3L.
Like 3L, I think is a really safe bet. You know, I say nobody knows,
Mm-hmm.
but I would bet a crap ton of money that Ethereum's going up.
Actually, I'm gonna do it right now while we're sitting here because I'm talking about it. So I had something that I don't really want.
Okay.
And oh wait, that's a limit. Let's go market. Note. Okay. I love how why is that USDT
We're
spot?
doing trading live on air, people. It's very
I
exciting.
know. Why is it not coming?
So exciting.
I know. Isn't this great radio?
It is
Why
great
is that?
radio. I just love it. I love it when
Oh,
you
because
do
that's
stuff
in my
on
main
air.
account. That's why.
Okay.
It was in my main account. It was not in my trading account. That's what
Okay.
was confusing me. So all, and then, yeah, because we're talking about it, and why not? Like we've talked about this. We think this can be. Now, do I do it? Do I just do the? I'll just do the 3L. That's fine.
Well, the thing that's nice about the 3L, so listeners, if you're scared of futures, KuCoin has actual tokens that are 3 long and 3 short tokens. And what's nice about tokens is you don't get liquidated, or I should say it's really, really hard to get liquidated,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so they're a little bit safer of an option if something like, say, Ethereum, you're like, you know what, it's going to go big, but I don't know when it's going to go down and I don't want to get liquidated. Well, you can do the 3L and it mitigates that risk and you can still feel like you're going to get something, right?
So I mean, it's not a lot. It's just $70, but I did sell something else I didn't really want. I had 70. I put in there.
Okay.
So, but
That's
I'll have
not
to look at some other things over the next couple days because I do think it's gonna be a buy the rumor, sell the news.
Mhm.
But I do think that there can be a run up. I think that there's enough excitement and enough going on. Although, do you know why everything dropped today?
I do not. Do you?
Yes, I didn't
Please,
realize it then. Well,
please
because
tell, because I don't pay
they
attention.
released the inflation numbers were 12%. So it was
Oh,
right after they released those numbers, everything dumped.
now why is that? I would think that
Because
this is an inflation hedge.
people were all exactly. That's the part that's really strange. Because
Okay.
so when last month when people were super excited that it was only 7 instead of 8%, it skyrocketed.
Right.
That same day it skyrocketed, and then today they say it's, I think I was 11 or 12, whatever it was. But you know, people are worried, so they're selling their Bitcoin, which doesn't make any sense.
That
And
doesn't make
here, I
any
mean, everything
sense.
else, of course.
So I have, as part of my strategy, but not really part of my strategy, I have like $60 in my futures account.
There you go.
And
Because
so
you're
I'm,
not doing the futures as part of your strategy, correct?
no, I only do it if I have to because I can't open because somebody stayed open. So
Mhm.
if I have to do a counter, I use that money to do my counter in my
Yeah.
strategy, which I get it, people. That doesn't make sense to you. It does to us. Sorry. But so I'm looking at that going, okay, if Ethereum's going to pump, why don't I do a 10x right now
Yeah.
and set the stop for like 50% so
hmm
that I'm going long term, not enough to get liquidated. But
hmm
again, if I can take that $60 and 4x it,
Yeah.
I don't mind getting $240.
Yeah, exactly.
So Well, people, it sounds like you're going to get a whole bunch of minis and
Mhm.
exciting news in the next 2 or 3 days. Who knows? Maybe Thursday we'll shoot another episode to let you know how this all went down with the merge. But we're excited. We're happy, even with the bad stuff, still happy. So, and
Mhm.
we're super happy you guys joined us. Please subscribe to the channel, follow our minis, and this is Ballbuster signing off.
With the Dragon Chair, love you all.